the perception battle. I get sick of the reality is that 999 out of 1,000 people I come across as a law enforcement officer, they're fine people.
HMMC.
You're listening to the WYE Radio Network.
On this episode of What's Your Emergency, Mike the Cop from, well, Mike the Cop.
The podcast that responds to all emergencies on and off the job.
And now here are your hosts, Motor Cop and the Happy Medic.
MC, I had no idea that when you're jumping on the internet, you could just put your name and then what you do. Like,
right?
Justin the Fireman.
You
Mike
missed
the Cop.
You missed the boat.
I mean, come on.
You really did. The memos went out years ago. You don't read your email, so it's your fault.
I don't read my email.
Exactly.
I don't. You know who reads their email? Mike the Cop.
Yes, he does. So for those of you who are not aware, and I can't imagine who you would be, who Mike is, and we'd like to be formal on WYE Radio, so Michael the Officer.
Michael the Officer.
That's how we start.
Yes.
Yeah, he started on Vine, which was this cute little 8-second video thing where humorous things occur.
Those were so funny. And along the way, he learned a lot about what to do and what not to do.
Yes, he did. He has grown his little brand to over 500,000 Facebook followers. It's impressive.
And not only that, MC, but he uses that. I'm gonna call it fame, for lack of a better term.
Sure,
because he's gonna live forever as Mike the Cop.
He's gonna learn how to fly.
But he took that following and he's turned it into so many more things.
Yes. He is a big part of Humanizing the Badge. We're going to talk about on this episode about the program Call for Backup. I think he's ready. I think without further ado, let's jump into the interview.
All right, get him on the line.
Mike, thanks so much for taking the time and joining us on our very second episode. Oh, he's giving you steel eyes on the radio show, by the way.
That's right.
What's Your Emergency is welcoming Mike the Cop.
Mike the Cop.
Well,
Hello, sir.
should be Michael the Officer.
Mike, yeah, that's the formal name.
Yeah,
Mike the Cop.
Mike the Cop. How you doing, man?
I'm brilliant.
You
How are
know,
you?
I didn't want to tell you were brilliant because I
yeah.
figured the ego would go insane. But you're a brilliant man, a
My
pioneer.
ego is already so out of.
We had
check,
your
man.
ego on the last show.
It's
okay?
almost like you were a motor officer because I'm going to call you an honorary motor because
Wow, we're
the
throwing
ego
names
is
around
just
already.
fantastic, man. Well
Can
done.
you send me like wings that I can pin on myself?
Boots.
I
You gotta
can.
get the boots.
I can. What I can't do is send you my hair. I'm sorry.
Is there something? Isn't do the Navy SEALs do that with like the trident thing where they push the pin into their actual body or something like that?
That was, I believe that was Navy SEALs with Charlie Sheen and Michael Biehn, where one of them died and they all hammered in their the trident into the casket.
Maybe.
Am I giving spoiler alerts from a late
maybe
90s?
the Coast Guard does that. Did Ashton Kutcher do that to
Actually,
Demi
you know what?
Lovato or something? Or
You know what, Mike? You're actually, and we weren't supposed to talk about this. We both signed NDAs as executive officers of the new Space Force. We're not supposed to give that kind of stuff away, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On
we're gonna do that.
Space Force, the little emblem just sort of floats away because no gravity.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
you remember the little blue Lego guy, the little
Mm-hmm.
space guy, spaceship. That's Space Force.
Yeah,
So, Mike
absolutely.
the Cop, coming in. Thank you so much, sir. We had you on our old podcast, the Crossover Show.
The show which shall not be mentioned.
Which shall not be mentioned here. But on What's Your Emergency Radio, Mike, what
That's
we're
like
trying
the
to...
Voldemort of podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What we're trying to do is just reach a wider audience and really talk about what it means to address emergencies, not only on the job, but also off the job, whether it's financial, emotional, physical, whatever. And who better to talk to about emergencies and dealing with stresses than a guy that travels the country stealing police cars and video equipment to make his own videos. So you started off on Vine. We talked to you back when you were a big Vine star. I understand Vine has kind of gone the way of the dodo, as it were.
All right.
So-
R.I.P. Vine.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now you're doing these very timely videos,
Cheer.
and something I wanted to talk about and jump off here with MC is you are an expert at capturing the narrative that's kind of going around the internet and making it relevant to law enforcement. Where did that idea come from?
Gosh, I don't even know, man. Like, I wish I could take credit for anything. I just, I guess, stumbled into all this stuff. I'm just a guy with a strong opinion, and I just I see things.
I'm just a man with a camera.
I just put it out there. I think that's I've never been an actor about anything. I've always just been myself, and I would like to think that I represent a pretty decent cross section of cops in terms of like how they see the world and giving people like a little bit of a glimpse into that, I guess.
So why, when you started, again, you started on at least the first time that I saw you was on a Vine, which were like 8-second videos, but you crammed so much content into 8 seconds, and really, we'll transition into talking about.
It was like rodeo, baby. It was beautiful.
It was. I pictured Luke Perry on a bull. I'll be honest with you.
That's the image I have every time I think of Mike.
There is a community. The guy that made Vine. There is a new app that is supposed to be in development called V2, to where it's going to be similar to that. I miss those days. I loved that short video format that forced so much creativity.
Why? Know? So let's talk about that. Why did you take the leap from anonymity, just a cop, and why did you put yourself out there? What was it that drove you to do that?
The perception battle. I get sick of the reality is that 999 out of 1,000 people I come across as a law enforcement officer, they're fine people, and they support law enforcement.
Both sides.
They don't have an issue.
On both sides.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that was a little effeminate. I'll work on it.
Yeah, please do.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a new podcast. You can be what you want.
But Mike, 99% of law enforcement you're running into, they're good folks. You take this technology
and hopefully show people that, because it's all an issue of perception, and perception is not reality. Perception.
God, thank you. Yes.
Perception.
Yes.
So
yes,
that's a lot, and the reason, if I suppose if technology existed in a vacuum and only people who had were already grown up use technology, that's fine. But perception is a formative thing for our younger generation, because they're getting their information via limited perceptions and perspectives on social media. And so if we want to help keep the reality of most people accepting and trusting law enforcement, then we have to fight that battle, because there's an entire generation of people coming up who they don't turn on the TV to watch news. They get it from a tweet, or they get it from some viral video. That is what's shaping their worldview, and it's not objective. So news as objective information is dead. So there has to be people, and I'm certainly not like the guy for that. I think it's a cumulative team effort of people who are willing to put themselves out there and say like, hey, we got to look at the world from an objective reality. It's really calling people back to independent thinking and objective reasoning.
Well, Mike, you're
not easy.
You're right out on the forefront. You hit on a perfect note there. Is the folks are taking the information that's given, and you're really jumping in there and saying, whoa, your perception is off. Here's the reality, but you're doing it in their language, and using these videos by being funny and jumping on some of these memes and making them your own, and showing that, hey, I'm a cop. I can laugh at myself. I can laugh at you guys. I'm just like you. And that is having a huge impact.
And following up on that, with and that's where the transition, I think, comes to really bring humanizing the badge to the forefront. But before we talk about that, I want to know, how did you make the leap from Vine guy to humanizing the almost the face of humanizing the badge? I mean, there's a few of you, but I think you were one of the more earlier adopters. How did you make that transition from Vine guy to HTB?
So HTB was before Mike the Cop, and what we realized is that there was an advantage in the video space, right? Like Facebook was giving a little bit of more leeway on videos and really promoting them. So video was an important element of growing any brand, company, however you would want to look at it. And what I didn't want to happen, I didn't want the Humanizing the Badge cause or page to be about me. as an individual. That's why I started Mike the Cop as a separate page, and then we started bringing on some of these other cop personalities who believed in humanizing the badge as a way to sort of like we're what you see at first, but it funnels back down into the cause. So rather than the page being dominated by personalities, we have the personalities on the outside and funnel that back toward the cause. So we even raising money, I raise a lot more money for the organization when I go live and have a donate button on Mike the Cop page than I would if I went live on the Humanizing the Badge page. So the organization is what's important, and utilizing personalities in order to, I guess, draw attention to it. Just, I don't think we purposely tried to do that, but that's just what we fell into. And I think to try to make it anything different at this point would be really difficult.
So those of us on the outside, Mike, are seeing your 600,000 Facebook followers, and you're not just throwing videos out there to try to get more followers. You're trying to use that to really build a community around something that you're passionate about. What advice can you give to an officer, a firefighter, an EMT that might have a little bit of a social media following for whatever reason, that wants to funnel it into an organization? Maybe 2 or 3 bullet points on what they should be doing right now.
One is... I still believe heavily in getting some time on the job before, because there's a lot of people like I talk to, like police academies and other things, like, I can't wait to get out there and sort of like do what you're doing. Well, I hope you do too, and I hope you're bigger than I've ever been able to be. But I think a lot of the credibility that I have in the law enforcement community comes from the fact that I've actually had some time and experience. So I think that's super, super important for people in to stay focused on the career and why they're doing that job as their primary thing, so that they're not distracted from that, and that they're the best first responder that they can be without being distracted by the social media stuff, and let that stuff be secondary. Nothing, even as powerful as social media can be, nothing replaces like who you actually are in your community. And get some time actually doing that in your community, because if you can be a social media person that does good things on social media, but if you're not really doing that in your real life, then it's just like people that
what's the point?
You get this pseudo glimpse of who they are, but you don't see their struggles. You don't see what and they could be totally fake. There are cops right now on social media that are I got to watch on the new podcast. Be careful here. They have less than honorable intentions with what they're doing.
That was very well thought out and said, sir. I heard what you were thinking of saying.
And
I went, oh my gosh.
I almost got offended, but not quite.
Yeah.
Almost, but not quite.
Almost.
So be real.
That would be,
get some time on the job. See what's going
on. Practice what you preach, right? Like do it in real life, not just on social media. Use social media as a tool, not as the end goal.
Wait, when you say use social media as a tool...
Did he just call me a tool?
Did you call me a tool?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did.
I think he did.
Are you guys social media?
Wait.
Is that your nickname?
Social media is the tool. I'm not the tool using totally mistook you
there,
Mike the Cop.
Okay.
Now you got it.
Let me sum up your last point. Basically, you're saying suck less at your job before you tell other people how to do it.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Yeah,
trademark that fast. He's going to use that in his next video.
That's why this is your show.
That's right. So, Mike, I wanted to bring something up real quick before we get serious. Something I like to do is go in and Google each of our guests, mainly number one, so I know who you are. Because I'm a fireman, Mike the Cop. I immediately go.
He's not smart.
He's probably got some pig up on his website or something. I don't know.
Turns out.
Dang it! I was just going for the spit take there. But no, Mike, the number one autofill that comes up on Google for you is Mike the Cop real name. How do you and this is something I get it, that enough people have put that into the Google machine for it to think that's what I'm searching for. How do you handle anonymity and yet still be a champion for this amazing cause?
So I actually don't try as hard to stay anonymous as people may think. Honestly, we put a book out that has been available for a while called Dear Officer. My name is on the book. We put it out before Mike the Cop was a thing, so my name's there. Mm-hmm. And I've never gone out of my way to say my name, but I've never hidden it either. I mean, people can can find me if they search hard enough anyway. And then on Facebook, on my personal profile, I've joined first responder groups, or I'm in a group or whatever, and that's my real name. And then I'll post a picture, and people are like, "What the crap? You look a lot like Mike the Cop."
How come you're using Mike the Cop's avatar? Thief.
So I mean, like, I'm not hiding it, but I'm not
broadcasting it either.
Out. Yeah.
I get that. I mean, Motor Cop, Happy Medic. He's been out of the anonymity closet a lot earlier than me.
Well,
I mean,
the trick was when you're shooting a pilot for a reality TV show.
It kind of goes out. Yeah, I mean, if people are internet savvy, they can figure out who I am, where I work. I mean, on our inaugural episode, I actually said my first name, Jason, which would have given me the vapors.
Wow.
10 years ago, I would have lost my mind. I had a citizen probably about 8-9 years ago. I was on the bike downtown, and this lady walked up, and she's like, I love Motor Cop," and I'm like, "Great." And then just nothing, right? I didn't say a damn thing. And she's like, "Oh, you're so wonderful." I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I pretended I had a call, and I just wrote away real quick.
You flipped up the visor mic and went, "I know."
Yeah, it was weird that she asked to see the hair, which I thought was awesome.
I thought it was weird that this was while you were citing her.
No, well, yeah. Some people do anything to get a signature from MC.
That's the weirdest thing.
But Mike, I saw something that you posted a few weeks ago about call for backup, and honestly, when I saw that, and we had already had this conversation about the new show, What's Your Emergency, and I thought I really want to explore this. I want to know more about this because suicide that is being committed by so many officers is such a huge deal, and it's kind of that thing that we, as an industry, kind of sweep under the rug. Nobody wants to talk about that, right? I mean.
Right. Yep.
More cops are dying from suicide than line of duty deaths, wrapping their patrol car around a pole or a tree, or gunfire from other people, etc., etc. How did call for backup come? Well, tell me what it is, what it's about, and how it came to be.
All right. So when we first started Humanizing the Badge, we literally had only one thing in mind, and that was like built into the name, right? We want to show the human side of law enforcement, and we want to somehow, if this goes anywhere, this was literally the conversations, like if this ever goes anywhere, we want to do something to give back positive in the law enforcement community. We didn't know what that would be. And what we started getting lots of were messages saying like, I was in a shooting at work, I don't know how to deal with this. A female spouse of a police officer would reach out and say, "My husband hasn't talked to me in 3 days. Literally, he came home from work and hasn't talked to me in 3 days. I don't know what is going on. Can you help?" And all of a sudden, this was happening so often that we actually got some people. And my dad, who is a licensed social worker, a police chaplain. Whoa, can you guys see me?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, my screen just went black. I thought maybe I lost everything. I'm sorry.
Nope, we're good.
So we brought him in and actually had him train some people to be able to sort of triage that and recognize, do I need to get them on some kind of like hotline like right now? Can I refer them? And we started having conversations with people, building a network of people to refer out so that they didn't have to go to their department psychiatrist. Different places have different policies.
Yep.
So this became a thing. And so while we were like building out this idea of community work with Project Human, we were simultaneously trying to figure out how can we make inroads and do something productive with our suicide prevention and how to just deal with stress in general. And that's where Call for Backup was born. And the thing that started happening was we were going in after major tragic events like the Pulse nightclub shooting or the officers killed in Dallas on 7/7, and we were going in and just like serving that community in whatever way we could. We would invite first responders in. We would do a free training on dealing with stress after critical incidents, and we wanted to boil it down though because all that stuff can get kind of heady. as far as, there's a lot that goes into understanding stress and dealing with it. But we, like the below 100 campaign in law enforcement, like what are the controllable factors that we can do to immediately reduce? We can't stop them all, but what can we do to literally see a direct result of stopping it? Awareness is great. Awareness campaigns. People need to be aware that suicide is a problem in the first responder community.
It's a start.
But prevention is what we have to do it. We have to have measurable steps that actually save lives. And once we started having these conversations and doing these trainings and then hearing people's stories that literally said, I was going to kill myself and I didn't. I literally made a decision to not take my own life. When we knew that this was working, we kind of put this into a training that we could do. So now we're doing our first Train the Trainer event in Detroit, and we've been going to military bases, police departments, police wives groups, and we have opened it up to all first responders. It is not. There's more firemen that kill themselves every year than police officers.
Yeah, I've got those stats, but MC wants to jump in on something real quick.
So this Train the Trainer talking about it. This is very last minute because this episode is probably going to launch early August, and what you're talking about is August 4th to August 5th in Detroit. Yes. But if our pre-recording conversation, you said there may be more. So when those trainings come up, I would love for you to reach out to us so we can tell our audience about it, because this is a huge resource that we want people to be able to access.
Yeah, for sure.
And just looking at basic stats like Mike was talking about earlier, guys, in the average population, this is based on CDC data that I just quick looked up here on WYE Radio. We do at least the minimum of research.
True story.
The average suicide rate, unfortunately, in the United States is 13.5 persons per 100,000 persons in the country. You got about 360, give or take, million. In law enforcement, that rate is 16.
Yeah.
So it is a good deal higher than the general population. Mike, you were talking about the under 100 or less than 100 campaign. Is that referring to how many officers per year are committing suicide?
No, that in law enforcement is it's specifically dealing with line of duty deaths.
Yeah.
And so, steps that they can take to minimize the preventable ones. Like you should wear your seatbelt more on. Right?
There you go. Same on the fire side.
Wear your vest.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Same on the fire side. So, the secret list on the fire side is keeping track of how many firefighters are actually dying on duty or duty related. So you go to a fire, you go home to the firehouse, you wake up dead in the morning. They consider that related to the fire. More firefighters are dying on the way to the calls than we are at the calls. But I want to focus mainly right now on just the suicide rates, because I found something that really made me take a moment and think. So according to the CDC that we know of, in 2017, there were 103 known firefighter suicides. 103.
Yeah.
There were 140 law enforcement suicides that we know about. Again, this might be something...
That's truly the key, is that we know about. Are they being reported and recorded accurately?
Yeah. Yes, but then we start...
They're not.
No, they're not. They're absolutely not.
But then we start looking at MC, one of the new branches of our listenership with WIE Radio is the military and our folks that are serving overseas. From 1999 to 2010, the CDC estimates that approximately 22 veterans per day were committing suicide. That's 8,030 a year. There is definitely an issue with folks that are in high stress vocations. And yes, firefighters, police, yes, we're stressed out, but guys, look around your community for those veterans, and maybe you can take a veteran to one of these police groups and just be like, dude, he's got nowhere else to go. So keep your eyes open. This is definitely an issue we need to address as a community.
Absolutely.
So how did Humanizing the Badge kind of... Well, actually, you did. You answered that already. So let me...
Ask him another question you already answered.
It makes it super easy for me.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Is there a site or a resource that if people are having these thoughts or concerns, or perhaps they have a relative, a spouse, whatever, that is showing signs or symptoms of depression or maybe suicidal tendencies, is there a site or a resource that they can be referred to for call for backup?
Yes, so we have multiple avenues. The most responsive is on the Humanizing the Badge Facebook page. They can send a message. Every person that is a moderator or admin on there has signed a confidentiality agreement and has gone through a basic triage, as we call it, for mental health. So where they kind of will direct you to where they can, as best as you can, ascertain what's the next best step for this person that's reaching out. There is a call on Facebook, call for backup page as well. I believe that's call the number 4 backup.info is like the call for backup page. I think if you just search in there, it pops up. But Humanizing the Badge is fine as well. It's the same people. And then you can always go to call for backup, the number 4 in there, .info, send an email right through there. Still pretty responsive. If it's 2 a.m, you're probably not going to see the email, but it will get seen first thing in the morning. So that's what we say. The Facebook page is pretty much 24/7. Somebody's up and somebody's looking at it.
And for anybody
humanizethebadge.com.
Yeah, anybody that's hesitating about, am I really going to go tell a stranger my troubles? Yes, that can be one of the most important things, is really just getting everything off your chest, getting everything out of your mouth, out of your brain, so your own ears can hear it. And a stranger can just say, what was your name again? Bob? Okay, Bob. Here's what I recommend in my experience. I wrote a post many months ago, a couple of years ago, actually, about a firefighter that committed suicide. And I put my phone number up, my Google phone number. And I thought, nobody's going to call me. Nobody's going to reach out to a stranger. I must have talked to a dozen people, MC, that called me just anonymously and just said, we're about to lose the house. My wife's about to walk out. I'm about to lose my job. I just don't know what to do anymore. And just talking to those people. And they're like, hey, man, you know what? You're right. You know what? I'm going to sleep on it. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. That can be powerful, not only for the people that are calling to get their problem solved, but for those of us that are back, saying, I'm having a bad day because I broke a shoestring. Sometimes we need that gut check that, hey, there's folks out there that are really struggling, and I've got time out of my day that I can share. And Mike and his group at Humanizing the Badge are literally going above and beyond what they have to do to serve as that resource. So cheers on you, Mike, to you and your folks.
Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's I don't hardly do anything. I just look good. That's it. And then I tell people where to go.
When do you do
did
this
that happen?
Good
When is that gonna? Is that gonna be?
I didn't take you guys for guys to live in denial. You seemed like you would. Seem like you're looking at it now. I mean, it's just.
Well, to be fair, the way we've got it set up for a radio show is we see ourselves more than we're seeing you. You're a very tiny little corner, and yet
that's all I need.
Well, that's what I understand.
Yep. That's beautiful. So, Mike, to bring it back around and not leave the show on a down note here, tell us more about V2 and what Mike the Cop is going to do with it.
I'm waiting on it. I don't know what's going to happen with it. They keep saying it's, there's going to be a test version coming out and all this stuff, and it just seems to be crawling along. I mean, I'm excited that a short platform like that, like I said, because it inspires so much creativity, forces it. It's great. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, we have the podcast like that you guys have been on. We have. I'm trying to work on a show format that we have a little bit better video production behind on a weekly basis, and then I'm always putting up whatever short video comes to mind on Instagram or Facebook or wherever.
It's interesting. I remember when we were on your show and we what's it called? Kind of took it over, and I'm gonna assume that was your most popular
number one show
ever.
Number one
show.
No,
the greatest poop story of all time is the best one. But you guys are up there. It's like in the top 3. It is in the top 3.
Wow. Oh, you stop it! No,
put us up there with the poop show. No. I see what you're doing.
So if I'm a regular Joe officer, regular Joe firefighter, medic, soldier, whatever. And I want to get involved on this call for backup, and I can't make it to Detroit 3 days from now. What can I do? How can I be a part of that or Humanizing the Badge? I want to offer something. What do I do?
The call for backup stuff is as we do the train the trainers. Just keep an eye out for that. You could bring that to your location. There's a lot of training consortiums that exist, and bring us in, and we'll do the training. When we go and offer it directly to first responders, not the train the trainer, but when we're actually just going to present the material, we don't charge people. It's a nonprofit, so we raise money, and then that pays for us to get someplace and to put it on for free for the people that need to hear it. That's what we do.
So if you can't get involved, guys, open up the wallet, thumb a couple bucks, and help keep this great program going.
All right, so easy follow-up question. If our listeners want to support this mission, where can they go? How can they donate?
On humanizingthebadge.com, it'll have a donate button. That's there. We do live streams with donate buttons on Facebook. There is a birthday feature. You can choose Humanizing the Badge. Eventually we'll change it to where you can pick HTB, Project Human versus Call for Backup. But for right now, it's just Humanizing the Badge as a nonprofit. You can give your birthday and say, like, guys, this year for my birthday, I'm trying to raise $100. So donate to Humanizing the Badge instead of, giving me a gift. Donate there, and that's a great tool, and usually people reach their goals, even if they get aggressive with like a $250 or $500 for their birthday or whatever. People do that regularly, and you can just put in there. You can, if you want it specifically to go for Call for Backup, you can just say, I'm raising money with Humanizing the Badge for Call for Backup, and we'll know to allocate it that way.
Great.
Even if you do that, that's a simple thing that everybody can do without much effort.
Fantastic, man.
I'm all about not much effort. Fireman.
Me too.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. If there were in fact a Barca Lounger here, he would be sitting.
I'd be in it.
Yeah.
For more reason than one.
Although I will tell you, his car shiny as the day is long.
Of course, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Every day, twice a day, it gets washed.
I keep waiting for him to clean my
notice
car.
He said
but
car, not truck.
Unbelievable. That's true.
I don't fit the full stereotype.
No, he does not. He drives he has an electric car and a Prius.
Plug-in Prius.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get the underpinning of what you were saying there, and sitting next to the man, you were absolutely accurate.
Mike the Cop, video and internet superstar. Thank you so much for coming on. What's Your Emergency Radio? We really appreciate it. We hope you have you back on soon to talk about Project Human. That sounds amazing and something that we can devote an entire episode to.
But where can folks find you?
Just look up.
He's right.
Look up Mike.
He's right there.
Look up Mike the Cop. That's it. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, YouTube, wherever.
That's easy.
Much like us, a bit of a social media harlot.
I was going to say a different word, but yeah, harlot.
Well,
works.
It's
a new show, so I can't use the other words.
My website's currently MikeTheCop.tv, and I need to revamp it because it's forwarding right now to some clearance stuff for Humanize the Badge, but.
It is. I went there earlier today, and I thought, he just wants me to buy a challenge coin and a T-shirt.
Yeah, we're trying to clear it out, man. Trying to clear it out.
Well, there you go. If you go to MikeTheTV.com or
he just read Willy Wonka. Don't
even better, MikeTheCop.tv. Maybe pick you up a shirt, a T-shirt.
Sure.
Yeah,
why not?
Awesome.
All right, Mike. Until we have you on next time, thank you so much for your time.
All right.
Cheers, brother. Be safe. Not everybody.
I'm so fanboy right now.
In their second episode of their brand new radio show on the interwebs, can secure Michael the Officer, but we did.
And not just that, MC, but I think you were the one saying that you are able to text Mike the Cop.
I was actually having a text conversation with him the other night, and I said to the wife out loud, it's ridiculous that I have the opportunity to simply text with Mike the Cop. The internet is insane. And
you think somebody with that following would be kind of like, I don't know, what's in it for me kind of a thing. But Mike was just, I got stuff to talk about, and here's another chance to do it. And what a great conversation with him about humanizing the badge and the importance of really reaching out, guys, if you're in that bad place. And also, MC, we got to get him back on and talk more about Project Human. That is fantastic.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to have Mike back on. He's a humanitarian in a uniform, and that's it's not really the narrative that we're seeing these days. So it's nice to see him really embodying what it means to be a human behind the badge.
Yep. So thanks, Mike, for coming on. Really appreciate it. Oh, you know what I just heard?
Is that the noise?
Bolo. MC, my spirit animal is coming back. As you know, I'm a fan of all media.
True.
Print, television, film. I don't call them movies. It's film or talkies. Either one.
Geez.
But no, my spirit animal's coming back. I'm a fan of Sherlock on CBS. And it's coming back, and one of the characters, Moriarty, is played by Natalie Dormer.
I love how you say that, and it's like you're looking through me and seeing her, and it's off-putting.
Buddy, that gif of her in the hammock swinging back and forth eating an apple like there's no care in the world is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
She was great earlier on in the series playing, of course, Sherlock's adversary, Moriarty. Really was hoping they'd bring the character back, and they're bringing the character back, and I'm hoping that they will bring Natalie back as well. Very much looking forward to it.
You just want to stare at her on screen.
I do.
You can't see her on the Game of Thrones, right?
No, but Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu on this iteration of Sherlock, the more I think about it, I enjoy Doctor Who, I enjoy Sherlock. I think I just like shows about British guys that talk funny and just kind of wander around solving problems.
That sounds like an easy go-to vehicle.
I may need to talk to a therapist. What do you got in the bolo?
So I'm actually going to tease our next episode, because episode 3 of What's Your Emergency, we're bringing on Garrett Teslaw. He
does like to be teased.
He does indeed. He is the creator of the Squad Room podcast. So that's a podcast I've been listening to for quite some time. He's in his his episodes. He's not in his late 80s, but his episodes are in his late 80s. He's been doing this for a while. Incredible value, in amazing content, excellent guests. Looking forward to having him on the show. So I kind of want to prime the pump, if you will, with our audience. When you're done listening to this show, hey, hop over to thesquadroom.net and listen to some of Garrett's stuff, because he's doing great work. And speaking of great work, we want to bring you some great works. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, you guys have made it this far into the show. How about some free stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is our new show, What's Your Emergency, right? WYEradio.com. You can find us on Facebook at...
WYE Radio Show is the Facebook group.
There you
WYE Radio Show on Twitter.
Perfect. If you go to wyeradio.com/002, which is going to be for this episode, it's where the show notes are going to live, where the links are going to be, that places we want you to check out. We got a little something special. You wrote a book a while back.
I did.
Kind of taken from your old blog.
Yeah, it's
about
an ebook.
You Make the Call.
It's an ebook called You Make the Call. I give you a scenario, and what I used to do, MC, on my blog was I would give a scenario on Friday, let everybody give their comments, and then I'd give what I did on Monday. And it would really bring up good conversations around the firehouse and in the ambulance yard. So it's You Make the Call, and I'm going to offer it free to everybody listening to episode 2. Just go into the show notes and find out how.
There you go. And the way that we met was via the interwebs.
We did meet on the internet.
Because we both started blogs right around the same time. So a number of years ago, I thought, we're starting to do this podcasting thing more, and I started writing less, and I kind of missed it. So I thought a lot of these folks that are checking us out new aren't going to really know from whence we hailed.
Yeah, who are these guys?
So I created an ebook that is a lot of my old posts and a lot of some posts that never made it onto the blog, but you kind of get an early view of me, of MC, and what it was that I was dealing with day in and day out. So it's just some entertaining stories, some humorous stories. So we're going to put that up on the blog. Both it's called the Soul Crushing Tales, right? Because my nickname is Soul Crusher.
Of course.
So you've got your 2 ebooks you can pick up for free at wyeradio.com/002. There'll be a little place for you at the bottom of the show notes to enter your email. You enter your email, and we will email that to you forthwith, or toot sweet, depending on which way you lie.
Yeah, just that simple, guys. And don't forget, wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you rate the show. Make sure you let us know how we're doing. You can drop us a line on social media, or Justin at wyeradio.com, or Jason at wyeradio.com. It's just that simple, guys. Until next time, MC, be safe on the bike.
And do me a favor, look out for planes, flying implements.
I'll do my best.
Just don't walk out on the tarmac all bad. All right.